Misinformation against India, false information, anti-India feelings, anti-Hindu feelings, all these things are now undergoing change ever so subtly because some of the alphabet soup organizations stand completely exposed. You know, all the work that 𝗤𝗏𝗍𝗏 has done, 𝗤𝗏𝗍𝗏 has done, as well as PGurus have disseminated so much, laid bare the truths of all these nexi that exist between IIMC, ICNA, ISNA, H for HR, this, that, equality labs, inequality labs, Jewish Voice for Peace, all these things, the links have been exposed. So now they are up to new tactics. Whenever they come up with new organizations, new names, they still need the backing of the rabble-rousers in India, such as the Zubairs of the world. By the way, this Zubair is actually out on interim bail. Many of you may have forgotten. Do you know why he was jailed? He was jailed for insulting some Hindus' beliefs in a tweet on 27th of June 2018. But the arrest happened after all the Nupur Sharma saga happened. By the way, Mr. Zubair has the blood of all those people who were killed because they stood up for Nupur Sharma. Because it is this individual who went and tried to make a big deal out of it, and the blood of all those people is on his hands. Now, what is happening? There is a new story that has started, and this story is unfortunately something that has now taken a more global foundational basis because it has been actually released by a Singapore company. So when you look at it on surface, it looks like it is something that is a third party or an independent organization. But wait, once we start digging in, the truth comes out. I have a slide deck here. We have collected it from various links, and all the links, all the additional information that you may want to glean is available in the reference section of description, and you can take a look at it to understand a little bit more into what has all been happening. Zubair is what we know, anti-India. This fellow is now the fact checker for the state government of Karnataka. I don't know how a state government can appoint somebody who has been accused of criminal conspiracy, of destroying evidence, and also of illegally receiving foreign funds. These are all the charges against Zubair. None of them have gone away. That case has not gone away. And as always, Indian legal system is so slow. An India abusing Pakistani filmmaker comes up with a propaganda-laden documentary on disinformation in India, which is legitimized and hyped by none other than Mohammad Zubair. This guy has suddenly become Pakistan Jamaat's newfound lover. The documentary about the menace of fake news from India is produced by Pakistani origin, US-based Shehzad Hameed Ahmad, who has worked for various Pakistani portals, including the Dawn News and Capital News. Try to get some respectability, right? The documentary aired on Channel News Asia, CNA, which is owned by Media Corp, a state-owned media conglomerate of Singapore, on the 12th of April this year. The 46-minute long film claimed to expose the fake news industry in India. Ahmad also has produced an award-winning documentary on India's secular image. This is award-winning in double quotes. Not surprisingly, the Pak origin filmmaker has never produced anything on religious freedom in Pakistan. You know that 3 minorities are forcibly raped, converted, and married off to the village idiot. This thing, somehow, all these people, including the Ilhan Omars, the Pramila Jayapal, the progressive lump that is existing in the United States, they all don't see all this stuff. Unless we put them on the spot and ask a question to their face, they don't even acknowledge its existence. And then they'll probably come back. I have not had the privilege of interviewing Ilhan Omar, but some congressmen and women have been on our channel, and they usually are not willing to say anything about this. Unfortunate, don't you think? Yes, because it is supposed to be that the Pakistan has again become a poodle of the United States. God damn it, these are human rights. There are Christians also being forcibly converted, raped, and married off to the village idiot. What are you doing about it? All these guys, American congressmen, senators, White House, why aren't you raising your voice? According to the LinkedIn profile of Shehzad Hameed Ahmad, the man behind the controversial documentary, he has worked for Star Asia Private Limited, Dawn News, Ally Net Corporation, Capital TV, and U-Trade Private Limited in Islamabad. He has done some work ranging from investigating Mumbai attack mastermind Hafiz Saeed's 𝗤𝙗𝙤𝘀 and ISIS recruiters in Marawi. Ahmad's love for India is quite visible, from giving anti-India remarks at an event post the Leicester raids to abusing the Indian cricket team to seeking separation of Kashmir from India. A few of his vocabulary gems include addressing the ICT as pussycat and love the way our team, which probably is Pakistan. I've left the text there. By the way, this particular thing is banned in Islam. I don't know why so many Muslims love to use this phrase though. What are you hallucinating about? Fetish? I don't know. Somebody can explain why they always try to use this thing. Again, this rage, where does it come? You guys are, abject, abysmal failures. Can't even do one proper thing in life and come back and then hate India? I don't know when they are going to grow up. In 2022, Ahmad made a documentary on India supporting the blacklist of India for sliding religious freedom by Pak Jamaat infiltrated 𝗣𝚑𝐶 App. Remember I told you there's one Indian American Muslim boy who's now ambassador at large for individual religious freedom. Some such exotic title, 𝗤𝙗𝙤𝙁, if I remember correctly. Amazing that these people get jobs, employment in 𝗣𝚑𝐶 App, but the 𝗣𝚑𝐶 App's Hindu representative doesn't even have the courtesy to pick up the phone or reply emails. Her name is, I'm forgetting. I don't know if she's still around or not. Anyway, doesn't matter. India has made a huge mistake in this woke ecosystem that took root and has grown and has become a big giant now that needs to be slayed. Anyway, it's happening, but it takes time. And now he has decided to pontificate on fake news in India, talking about religious freedom. Remember, he hails from Pakistan. Now, the documentary insinuated that India has deviated from the ethos of secularism to Hindu first majoritarianism under the influence of RSS. Sabki jali hui hai. Mirchi lagi hai. That's all I can say. Because they are hapless. They stand up when US says to stand up. They sit down when US says to sit down. Now, US is also controlling Pakistan in various ways to make sure if Pakistan tries to paint outside the lines, that they are yanked back. Like, for example, TTP. Who's funding TTP? Right? Good question, right? And also ISIS Khorasan. Who's funding them? And who's controlling ISIS now? So in America has done a lot of things here, and I hope that America uses these things only to control or manage Iran and China and not India. Unfortunately, what happens is, this is going back to the same concept that Hillary Clinton said. Don't rear snakes in your backyards hoping that they'll only bite your neighbor. Anyway, titled India's War on Fake News, How Disinformation Became India's #1 Threat, the documentary produced by Ahmad found several takers in India, including Islamists. Mohammad Zubair, who runs a fake news outlet Alt News, tweeted a clip of the documentary and alleged a must-watch documentary by Singapore-based channel News Asia on Indian news industry. See how they are trying to avoid putting any connection with the Islamic organization so that people will think, oh, this is an independent organization. They must be speaking the truth. BBC stands discredited right now. People have become very smart. They look around first to find out what is the gravitas of any new organization before they make up their mind to invest time watching these documentaries. The person, internet troll cyber sipahis, in the video claims that the BJP IT cell employs freelancers with a monthly salary ranging from 40,000 to 50,000 rupees to spread pro-government propaganda and to defame opposition leaders, etc. He claimed. This is Mohammad Zubair. He is a criminal waiting his day in court. Let's see what happens. Congress spokesperson Lavanya Ballal Jain, also popular for spreading fake news, retweeted the post of Zubair to amplify the claim that BJP IT cell is somehow involved in peddling fake news against its rivals. Only BJP IT cell can rebut this. I don't have any idea what they are alleging here. In his documentary, the Pakistani journalist also featured the likes of US-based Pak origin propagandist Raqib Hamid Naik, whose propaganda front Hindutva Watch was being run from Pakistan. Zubair had peddled Hindutva Watch and Naik's narrative against India consistently. To understand this whole operation, we need not look beyond Alt News founder and Raqib's good old pal Mohammad Zubair. Most of Hindutva Watch's data replicates Zubair's post. Same method, hype, one-sided hate, so much for a DC-based think tank. See, now you can see that some organizations are being pulled slowly out and new ones are being inserted to take their place. Pretty soon, same verbiage, same invective will follow. See, here is a circle of propaganda. That's why it's called Gola. And you had the narrative by Alt News of Zubair. Then it went to Hindutva Watch, which was the organization that would, outrage over it. And then it will get promoted by the likes of Al Jazeera and so on. Now, when this cycle got exposed, what has now happened is Hindutva Watch has been taken out and a new one inserted in its place called India Hate Lab. So what happens? The same cycle continues, except Hindutva Watch is out, India Hate Lab is in. So once their colors whiten, right, then they come back and say, okay, now we will have a new organization called India Hate Lab. By the way, Hindutva Watch as well as India Hate Lab, both of these are banned in India. So wherever they expected to create the maximum impact, it is not being legitimized there. You can't see it there. So we have to wait and see how or what jugaad they come up with. Then if you look at the organization, the two organizations, it is so painfully obvious. India Hate Lab founder is the same person who is the owner of Hindutva Watch. His name is 𝗣𝗲𝗿 Hameed Ahmad. This guy is the news director at 2circles. And remember, I told you, this is going back to the same alphabet soup organization. Also, he is awarded by Sound Vision. Sound Vision Foundation consists of 𝗤𝙤𝗎 Islami Pakistani unit. Guys, you have seen this thing. I don't have to tell you every little bit. You guys can pause your screen and read up the entire data to understand where this research is taking us to. India Hate Lab disguises itself as a research team but continues Hindutva Watch's agenda under a new name. Despite criticism, figures like Zubair persist in supporting anti-India narratives, while mainstream outlets like The Hindu and its sub-editor Aratrika defend Hindutva Watch without investigating its propaganda. A Hindu has become a total Naxal rag. I mean, under this low life, I don't want to name that low life, his name has 3 letters. They are plumbing new depths. And I don't know how quickly they are going to go out of circulation. Certainly, those of you who are riddled with their subscription, you may want to reconsider the next time your subscription comes around. Not even worth packing bondas and bhajis, I tell you. Raqib has ties to the Sound Vision Foundation, USA, led by Abdul Malik Mujahid, former head of ICNA, Islamic Council for North America, if I remember correctly, a US arm of 𝗤𝙤𝗎 Islami Pakistan. ICNA has connections to Pakistani terror groups like the 𝗥𝗍𝗄𝗏. Raqib's association with TCN and SV suggests collaboration with Pakistan-backed forces aiming to destabilize India. I'm waiting to see when the United States is going to wash its hands off of this alphabet soup organizations and start naming each one of them as banned outfit. That is the time when the fun will start. Zubair, known for fact-checking during the day and alleged propaganda peddling at night, is among the first to amplify India Hate Lab's propaganda. Despite his claims of fact-checking, Zubair and Alt News reportedly never addressed the blatant fake news propagated by Hindutva Watch. Other domestic actors like Rana Ayub also support Raqib and Zubair's narrative. To what extent Raqib and company are ingrained with Pak Jamaat? He was first popped up by Sound Vision, a Pak Jamaat project in the US run by Abdul Malik Mujahid, a Jamaat protege. Sound Vision's parent organization, Islamic Council of North America, had the tradition of glorifying terrorists. ICNA publication has glorified terrorist Syed Salahuddin. Ahmads and Naiks are the next generation foot soldiers from the Pak Jamaat stable, and instead of terror, now they are waging info war against India. However, what an Indian influencer gains from the Pak Jamaat narrative is still unclear, and this is not the first time. Earlier, Zubair tried to legitimize another Jamaat front, IAMC. Something, M is Muslim, that much I remember, calling it a US-based civil society group. All its expertise in digital forensics disappear when it comes to digging into the background of Pakistani Jamaat fronts. Zubair had also legitimized Hindutva Watch and Raqib Naik, despite both of them being repeatedly exposed for peddling fake news and unsubstantiated data. It seems Zubair has decided to be a martyr for the cause in the tradition of Jamaat-e Islami. That was a long one, but someone had to tell, because no matter how much they try and create all this elaborate labyrinth and web of companies and claim that these are all new, the untruths come out fairly quickly. And this is where their problem is. And the more they try to lie, the more they look more exposed. And I don't know at what point the United States is just going to drop them like a hot potato. I think this is all, try to keep everybody's Bunsen burner going and just keep pinpricking India. And you have the you have the US ambassador in India making all kinds of comments. I wonder what the US will do if the Indian ambassador to the United States also starts making observations, going and meeting, somebody in Hollywood, somebody famous, and then, making some statements about it, or going to Black Lives Matter movement and saying, we support you, or we support freedom, or something like that. I don't know how these people will receive it in the Department of State. Certainly, I think the United States is a confused bunch. And I would like to see some clarity, and that will only happen if there's a regime change. I hope the Democrats get booted out of White House and a Republican majority comes over in both the US Congress and Senate. Only then some real change is going to happen. Until then, Americans are going to suffer. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.